Hello, welcome back to the workshop of Wood Spun Round. I'm glad to have you with me here again. I've got a piece of spalted maple, not spalted maple, it is ambrosia maple on the lathe. I've gone ahead and turned the bottom, got it ready. It's sanded to 240. I'm going to put some color on this. Some people may not like the idea of putting color on ambrosia maple, and I understand that. I have been there myself. It's just something that's not typically thought of. Looking through my colors here just to see what might tickle my fancy tonight. But the reason I want to put some color on it, years ago, a fella who is still my friend, Terry Daniel, he was buying some beautiful burls. Various burls. He didn't much care what kind of wood it was, but burl, he wanted it highly figured, and he had a special way he wanted the tree cutters to cut that burl for him when they brought it to him. He would take it, turn some beautiful closed forms, and then he would dye them. He didn't use an airbrush. He used paper towels or cut up t-shirts or something of that nature, and would apply the dye in blotches. I'm going to do a little different technique. This has a lot of the ambrosia in it. It's got a little bit of figure in it, not a whole lot, but what I'm hoping is that the dye process, as I apply it and sand it back and all those kinds of things, will bring a lot of that figure out. I'm going to start off with some black. I'm going to coat this pretty well with black. That will be a base, is all it's going to be. I will sand this back. I'll apply it, let it dry, and then I will sand it back. There we go. Wasn't pulling the trigger back very far. This wood has been around a while. This came from my friend down in Atlanta, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, if you happen to see this is a piece of your wood, and I know you're saying to yourself, well, no! But I promise I am going to cut this black back. I will apply some other colors. The plan is that the figure and the ambrosia designs that are in there will come through the dye. I will tell you, this wood is absolutely drinking the dye. I've been talking in recent videos about using sanding sealer to seal the wood, and normally I would do that if it was just a finish going on. But this dye, while it would work with the sanding sealer on it, it would not soak in quite as well, and I want it to soak in real nice. I am going to sand a lot of this back, if not all of it. You'll see just remnants of the black. I do have a little texturing on the very bottom. I've turned a recess on this blank, and inside the recess I have done some texturing. Just spraying out the excess. This is a water-based stain, and so it's not, I don't have to go back and absolutely clean it. I could. And what cleaning would do would then be ensure that I don't have any of that black going through there again. In fact, I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to go get some water, come back so I can run just a drop or two through that airbrush. All right, I just ran a whole reservoir full of water through my airbrush. That has given this time to dry. So I'm going to turn my speed down a little more. Oop, that's not what I want to do. I'll come back with 150 grit. I'm not going to sand the inside the recess. I'm going to sand the very bottom though. Excuse me just a second. I want to put my dust mask on. This is water-based, and it's not a big deal. The dust is not a huge issue. However, after my experience the other day with some other wood, I'm not going to take any chances right now. I'm going to go to 100 grit for a minute, just to get this stain started. Okay, we have covered this with black stain. We have sanded it back with 100 grit and 150 grit. I'm going to apply another color now. Let's go with I don't want to do what everybody and his brother does. Let's go with some plum. This is a dark purple. Give it a good shake. Make sure our colors are well mixed. Oh, we shut off here. There we go. Just kind of hopscotching all the way around. I may add some more. In fact, I will. That's all I'm going to put on. I'll pour my excess out of my reservoir. Then I'm going to empty my gun. I'll empty it on the bottom. While it's drying, I'm going to put a little water in my airbrush. Shake that up just a little bit. All right, everything is out. I will put the plum up. What else have I got here? How about a little bit of let's go with a little bit of sky blue. There are two blues in this kit that this is a sampler kit. Sky blue is the lighter of the two. It's still a very nice royal kind of blue. And again, I'm going to go in the areas where there's not much of the purple, kind of filling in. going to hit the rim. Been around a couple of times, I know, but there are still some places that are not covered. That's okay. Not much left in there, but we're going to pour that out. Again, some more water. Now I'll just spray that out. I've got plenty of sawdust on the floor. It's not going to hurt a thing. I'll just spray that all the way out, and that'll clean everything. All right, I'm going to come back. Let's go with I was thinking 2 colors, but I think I'm just going to go with 1 more color. I'm going to put some honey on there. Honey is a yellow. There it is. The tendency with the honey, when you apply it, is it tends to blend the colors that are there already, but it also enriches the colors that are there. So we're going to give this a coat all over with the honey. There we go. Going just a touch fast. I wasn't getting good coverage. Now I got to decide, is that all? Is that all? I think that's going to be all. When you're applying stains and other colors to wood, especially figured and woods that have various lines, whether it's ambrosia or spalted, you really don't know what you got until you start putting your final finish on. What I intend to do after I've turned the inside, I will spray the entire, well, even before I get to that point. I'm going to spray some sanding sealer on here. I just got sprayable sanding sealer. If you've been watching my videos, you understand that I typically use a wipe-on sanding sealer, a loose sanding sealer. Oh yeah, that's dry. That is dry. So we have honey, we have plum, and we have the sky blue. You see some, I hope you can see in the camera, there's some green looking, and that's the combination of some of that blue with some of the yellow. But yet you still see the blue, the purple, the yellow. See all 3 of the colors. And of course the black is under there and enhances all of it. You give that just a quick blow with the compressor. I did not think that had any dust on it. We're going to give it just a quick sealer just to kind of protect it. And this will give you a good idea of what it's going to look like here in just a moment. Well, it'll give you a preview. What I will, when I apply the lacquer, that lacquer will really bring it out. Okay. Wow. This wood is drinking in this sanding sealer. I don't want to put so much on that it runs. Yeah, that little area right there, it's just soaking it in like nobody's business. But as you can see, that color is just getting richer and richer. And this is just sanding sealer. Okay, I'm going to give that just a couple of minutes to dry. In fact, I'm going to turn my speed down, turn the lathe on. One, so if it is thick somewhere, it won't run, but also to help it dry, that as it's turning, it's circulating the air itself. And I tell you what, somebody, every once in a while, somebody will say, well, aren't you afraid that it's going to be too dark, or you're not going to like the color when you get it done? That's always a possibility. And if I get it done and I don't like it, I can put it back on the lathe and I can turn that color off. So, you know, it's not a huge deal. Paper towel here, I'm just going to wipe off a little bit of the excess. I'm not going to press hard because, as you can see, some of the color does come off. That's pretty well dry. Hope I didn't just make a big muddy mess. I don't think so. No. Some of these places, that's where it laid on top quicker. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little more on. Then I'm going to let it sit and just dry naturally. Slow it down. That looks a ton better right there. All right, we'll be back in just a few minutes. All right. Sanding sealer has had time to dry thoroughly. It's time for some abrasive paste. Using some Axe abrasive paste now. This may take just a little more than what I normally would use, but that's okay too. Whatever it takes. We got it covered now. Very top edge of the rim is not sanded all that well, and it may end up being cut back to just clean wood again. And if it does, that's okay. Nothing says it has to stay colored. It's pretty neat right now. It's definitely black and green and just dark, which is kind of what I wanted. We'll run this up to 330. Start working this abrasive paste. Go ahead and switch over to a new section of paper towel. That section that I applied with is getting pretty chewed up really quickly. Get some of that out of the the groove there. I'll have to work on that. I've got a little texturing there in the center. I'll have to work on to get that out of there. Speed up some more. 485 is what I moved it up to. Turn that paper towel over. Turn the paper towel inside out. We're going to go up to 635 now. I've said before, the speed is not, the RPMs are not critical at all. I'm just giving it a couple of, I'm just going up a couple of notches in the rheostat on that speed controller. $735. I'll change out paper towels. Starting to get a bit of shine on there. $9.35. Haven't done any coloring in a while, and this is so far so good. I like what I'm getting. Hey, just had a thought go through my head, just a reminder. My last video was the drawing for the 500 subscriber, and again, I thank all of you who are subscribers. If you're not a subscriber, I would love to have you subscribe and be a part of the group. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell, and it'll come up with 3 options there. Click on all, and YouTube will notify you every time I put out a new video. And at the time of me doing this turning, the winner for that drawing has not contacted me yet. Roger Kent, you have until Friday. You got to contact me Friday. If I don't hear from you between now and Friday, on Saturday I'm going to select another winner. And if I don't hear from anybody, if I don't hear from that person pretty quickly, she who must be obeyed will win that bowl. She was begging me to let her have it. When I got it off the lathe and I showed it to her, she wanted that bowl so badly, but she understood what I was doing, and she gladly, not gladly, but begrudgingly, I guess, said okay. But I'm telling you, she would love to have it. Roger, it's yours. You've got until Friday to let me know. Contact me, give me your contact information. And if you're not in the U.S., I'm not sure where you live. And so if you live like in England, the UK, Europe, anywhere, you need to let me know how to mark the outside of the package so that you don't have a whole bunch of duties and taxes to pay. Alright, my towel is coming off not perfectly clean, but it's pretty clean. There we go. So the abrasive paste is done. I still got to get a little brush and clean this out. Oh, there it is. It was camouflaged on me. Little brass brush. Relatively soft. Even though that rough edge on the very top, we'll grab my paper towel and go ahead and put a little wax on it, and I'll finish it up later when I have turned the bottom out. I'll put 3 or 4 coats of wax on here and buff it. It's up to 1400. Getting a pretty nice shine there. I don't know if you can see it or not. Maybe you can there in the bottom. My paper towel is reflecting quite well in the bottom where it's not textured. Right there in the center had a little white section. That's wax and paper towel. It's in the textured section. Something else I hadn't done for a little while. I haven't textured anything at all. That's just a nice little decoration there, and I'm going to do a little more on this bottom before I flip it around. Probably will not do my 3 lines. I'll probably just do 2 and do the marking of my mark. Place my mark inside those 2 lines. One line will be just outside this texturing, and one maybe a 1/4 inch in from that. What do we got? Let's see. Let's look. Man, that looks pretty nice. Pretty nice. You can use some more, without a doubt. Take my little brush and clean those spirals out just a bit. Reverse my paper towel. I'm going to put another coat on here right now. Push comes to shove later, after I've turned the inside. If I want more shine than what I've got, I'll still be able to put even more wax on it if I want to. If I don't like what I see, I can give it a good wash down with denatured alcohol to take the wax off, and I can put some lacquer on here. Can use shellac, I can use polyurethane. Whatever I use, I'm probably going to spray it on. That's got a real good coat. I'm not sure how good a coat that first one was, so this one ought to really make a difference for us. Very little pressure. I'm not getting into that textured section much, as little as possible. Trying to get it out of the inside of that recess. That's a very shallow recess. It doesn't take a whole lot. As for the buffing of this wax on this, the rest of it, it doesn't take a lot of pressure. Running at 1400 RPMs, light pressure, just buffing the wax. You're not burnishing, simply buffing at this point. We'll let the rim just a little bit of attention. The rim will get most of its attention after I turn the inside out, because I will probably mess it up just a little bit, so I have to fix it anyway. Tell you what, it feels better. The reflection I'm seeing is a little cleaner. Could probably use some more buffing. But I just want to stop there and look, and it's looking pretty good. Pretty good. I want to clean out these bug holes before I go any further. Every once in a while, you'll actually find one of the bugs. Not too often, but every once in a while. Now this is a case where, even though it's not the safest, you have a spiral like that and it collects some wax, a cloth would be a little better at getting some of that wax out of there. Paper towel is just a touch soft. Tends to tear, especially when it's gotten wet from wax or any other finish for that matter. But we can clean that up a little bit later. Ouch. Just poked my thumb with that dental pick. Anyway, there we have it. That's the bottom side, and that's the main thing I wanted you to see. Oh, I forgot, that's on a wormwood screw. I didn't tell you that either. We're on a wormwood screw. There we go. Very safe way of holding that. I drilled my hole, my pilot hole for it, threaded that on. Nice woodworm screw there. Does a great job of holding that. Pops right out. We're ready to turn this bad boy around. Turning it on the jaws just to clean out that recess just a touch. Make sure I seat really well. I have about 1.25 inches from the inside of the recess to the outside of the foot. So I got plenty of meat there. Again, I'm going to put my mask on. Let's get to turning the outside or the inside of this bowl. There we go. Need to tighten the banjo retaining nut on the bottom. Just works its way loose from time to time, and I have to tighten it up. We'll give it a spin, make sure we're not hitting. Height looks good. Let's see, I'm going to turn my speed down as we get started. All right. Get my live center out of my tailstock before I forget it and hit my elbow on it. I'm going to try to do this without turning my headstock. That way you can see it better from beginning to end. I flattened it out, gotten it kind of started. Now I want to establish the height of my rim. About a 1/4 inch there, and that looks really, really good. I think that's what I'm going to stay with. And that'll basically give me the thickness all the way into the bottom. Handle is down low. Flute is turned to, what, about 2 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock. Face, I got my dust mask on, but not my face shield. There we go. Sort of saw that coming. I just pulled it right off is all I did. I don't know. Not thinking about what I'm doing, I guess. I'm going to go through that routine again of cleaning that recess out. There we go. On there good and tight again. I was just taking too big a cut is what it was. It kind of caught in that end grain right there. So I'll have to remember to take it easy. As you can see, that's some beautiful ambrosia there. Hope Elizabeth is watching this. She loves ambrosia maple to begin with. I bought this from her and with the hopes that she would see it, see how pretty it is. All right. Those last passes I was taking, I was, I know I'm good to here. The rest of this, I've got a pretty good ways to the end, to the bottom of the bowl, and I'm kind of looking to see where I'm at in relation out here. Once I get all of this removed, I can bring my depth gauge up here and check that. But I'm in great shape right now. In fact, I'm going to make a couple more passes down the wall to get that just a little further, and then I'll probably go ahead and take that center out so that I can check my depth. I would hate to go through all this trouble having the backside pretty well done and then go through the bottom. That would not be very pleasant for anybody, you or me. Not that I'm beyond making a funnel, I've made my share of them. I just don't like to make funnels. That's not my object here. I want to make a beautiful bowl. Nice tight curls, as well as some long loose ones. But I say all that, I'll point that out. At the same time, I need to go and sharpen. So I'll be right back. Saw a little issue on one side, and so I took a second and just cleaned that up on my issue on this left wing of my gouge. All right, I want to continue. I'm good to right there where my thumbnail is, and from that point down I need to thin it out more. I've still got a bit to go, but I want to take this hump out of the center before I go any deeper on the sides, so that I can see exactly where I am on my depth. slow down as I get to the center because the center is not turning, even though it's the same RPMs, you got more speed out here because it's a larger circumference of that circle. Here, the circle is down to next to nothing. So, gotta slow down. Okay. This is my depth gauge for this chuck. Put that up against there, and I'm seeing, what is that, 1.25 inches maybe? Right at it. Just under. Just under. That, by the way, is probably one of the best depth gauges you can create because it tells you exactly where the end of those jaws are. Doesn't tell you how thick the wood is, it tells you where the end of the jaws are. And so you know from this point to the end of the jaws exactly how much. If that becomes 0, you've gone too far. You always want to have just a little touch left. Okay, so my walls are good down to right there where my fingernail is. And from that point on, I got to thin out my wall, and I've got an inch. I know I've got an inch at least of bottom, so I've got plenty of wood to still turn. Check we're all clear. All right, just for the fun of it, let's pull out the depth gauge again. This block goes against the headstock, and this edge is at the very end of that particular set of jaws. I put this rod right dead set against the center, and I've got kind of what I thought, 3/8. 3/8 of an inch is what I've got left. I'm going to stop there. Sanding process is next. I'm not going to put you all through that. So I'll bring you back here in just a little bit after I have done some of the sanding. Okay, let me bring you up to speed here. We have sanded to 320. Let me take my dust mask off. I've had it on this whole time. Don't need it now. But we have sanded all the way to 320. We have used the abrasive paste, the Axe abrasive paste. It did a fabulous job, as it always does. I have put, what have I put? I've put 3 coats of the restoring polishing paste on here, including another coat on the back side. We're just finishing buffing it up now. Almost forgot to bring you back in, which would not have been a bad thing. You've seen all of this before. No reason to put you through watching it again. fact is, I'm going to be putting out before too long, I'm going to put out a video just doing the finishing. After all the sanding's done, doing this wax finish and doing a lacquer finish, both of which will then allow me, I won't show you any of this, but anyway, we're right now done, just finishing the polishing of it. I don't know, I'm always a little biased. However, there are pieces that I make that I just don't like, that I think I didn't do a very good job. Either I didn't do a good job on the shaping, or I didn't do a good job on the sanding, or maybe some step in the finishing process. And I looked at this one a while ago. I am well pleased with what I've got. I've got one idea for the next OG bowl that I do. I think I'm going to put a little bit of a bead on the foot on the next one. Not on this one, but I will on the next one. All right, are you ready for the great reveal? I don't know about you, but I am. Let's see what we got. Wow. Wow. That Ambrosia Maple, this brown section here, that reminds me of walnut right there. Right here as well, that whole area. Okay, I've got those little bug holes that I've got to clean out on the inside. Lock down my spindle. That's the wrong direction. There we go. Every time I use a recess, I have this tendency of going backwards to release it. Well, you've seen me dig the wax out before. It's not a big deal. Just a matter of using my dental pick, pulling that wax out so I don't have these white remnants left over. There we go. I have found these bug holes where they went all the way through, from inside to outside or outside to inside, whichever way you want to look at it. Quite interesting when they do that. At least it interests me. I don't understand how a bug so tiny can eat its way through solid wood, whether it be maple, whether it be oak. I've had some locust that was eaten all the way through. There's a hole that goes all the way through, inside to outside. All these up here. Anyway, you understand what I'm doing. I'm just picking the wax out, the grit and the wax out of the bug holes, and I can finish that off camera. But there you have it. There's the inside. Ambrosia Maple came out of the Atlanta, Georgia area. There's the backside with its beautiful coloring. Plum, forest green. No, I did not use forest green. Plum, sky blue, and honey. And the blue and the yellow combine to make the green. There is still some blue that shows. It's a little I don't know what you call that, but it changes colors a little bit. There's some of that wax that came all the way through from the inside. I got all that out on the outside earlier. But I'll sit down and clean all of that out. Not a big deal. A little bit of spiral here. I will come back and put I did not put my lines on there, but I will put my maker's mark on there, so people know that I did it, when I did it, and that it's Ambrosia Maple. All right, quit doing that, because I want to let you go. Ambrosia Maple. This is Doug at Wood Spun Round. One more reminder, Roger Kent, get in touch with me. Send me an email, a text, whatever it is, my contact stuff. You can get me on private message or direct message on Facebook or Instagram, either one. You can reply to the video where I turned the walnut bowl, or the video of the drawing. Either one of those. I'll see either one. So get in touch with me. Saturday I'll be drawing a different name if I don't hear from you by Friday. So I trust you'll get in touch with me. I thank you all for being with me. This is Doug at Wood Spun Round. Until we get to meet again, I hope that you're able to spin them round.